Good afternoon, everybody, and we're here in the little school chapel at Mary Mother of God Parish. You might call this little talk, What to Expect When We Are Now Able to Get Back to Church. As you know, those of us living in Lackawanna County were the last of the counties to be moved to the yellow stage, at which point we can begin to return to something looking normal. So I just want to cover a couple key points. First of all, you will be getting a letter probably Tuesday or Wednesday in the mail, which will repeat much of what I'm about to say now. You don't have to remember anything I'm going to say, but it just adds a little further detail. Coming to Mass will be a little more involved than in the past. As the letter will tell you, you will need to register, so to speak, to attend the Mass. You can do that in one of two ways, using your computer, or you can do it by calling Colleen, our secretary, expressing an interest in attending a particular Mass. On Sundays, we will only have the 4 on Saturday, 8:30, and 11 on Sunday. So if you can use either the websites available or calling through Colleen to put in for a particular Mass, you will then be notified, yes, you have a reservation for that Mass, and only that Mass. If you have a reservation for the 8:30, you cannot go to 11 or vice versa. You are kind of assigned to that one Mass. The capacity is 25% of the church size with 6-foot social distancing, which significantly cuts down on the capacity of our rather large church to about 100 people. So that's about all we can hold at a given Mass. We are wondering how many people are even going to feel safe going to Mass. I guess time will tell. But you must make the arrangements through computer or phone to register. When you come to Mass, you will enter a door in the back of the building that will be open, propped open. You will not have to touch the doorknob or anything like that. You will enter the church, where you will be greeted by people who will check off that, yes, you are indeed here, and maybe hand sanitation right there. And then you'll be instructed as to how to find a seat that will be 6 feet away from the nearest person. You can sit on those seats, and only those seats. Those seats will keep you with the proper distancing. You must wear a mask. That's the way it is. People who are unwilling or unable to wear a mask will simply not be able to participate. I don't want to have to cross that bridge. But that's the way it is. As the bishop said 100 times in the last few weeks, but especially at his town hall meeting last week, being safe is our first priority. If you're an older person, easily given to sickness, stay home. The obligation to attend Mass has been suspended. Stay home, watch Mass on TV. We will continue producing it for you so you can feel connected. Not the same thing, but something. In any case, when you proceed to your pew, you will notice some changes. The missalettes and the cards in the pews are gone. You may very well have used the last missalette in your life. As the old saying goes, nothing is dirtier than money and a church missalette. They go through hundreds of hands over the course of a year. Music will be almost non-existent. I have spent much of my career trying to help people sing at Mass, and now we're telling you not to sing. That's because the scientists are saying the singing expels the virus much further, and it'll get only more people sick. So we'll have some music, but it'll be very basic and very simple, largely instrumental. There'll be no carrying up the gifts, because that would involve contact. There'll be no sign of peace. I'm told you're not even supposed to do this, just a wave will be fine. I know it all sounds very foreign to us, and I'm only capturing some of the highlights. Communion will be particularly interesting. You will receive communion after Mass has concluded. I know that sounds awkward and very different from our tradition. That way you will receive communion and proceed out one of the side doors. And you are asked to go home. We are discouraging, again, contrary to common practice, we are discouraging gatherings after Mass. Please just get into your car and proceed home. For everyone's safety. Communion, to get back to communion, we strongly urge you to receive communion in the hand. I know that is foreign for some people and a difficult transition for some people. But we strongly urge that for the prevention of the easily transmitted disease that has killed now over 100,000 people in our country. I will more or less drop the host into your hand to avoid even touching your hand. If I do, I must sanitize my hand. You will be asked to sanitize your hand before you receive communion. Those stations are actually already in place. If you receive on the tongue and I touch your tongue, I will immediately sanitize my hand. Trust me. This is for everyone's safety. I've only covered the highlights, especially in terms of registering for a particular Mass, lest if we go over the number allowed, then I would have to turn people away. And I would hate to turn anybody away from getting to church. Some of you have been waiting for 9 or 10 weeks now just to get to a Mass. Perhaps you won't be able to get to Mass every week. The Mass you want to go to may be filled. Maybe you can go the next week. I have to say it may be like this for some time to come. None of us knows when things will return to normal, whatever that looks like. But in the meantime, I want to make 4 points that the bishop has stressed time and again. If you're sick, stay home. If you're at risk, stay home. You must have a mask. You must accept sitting more than 6 feet away, unless you're a family. If you live together, that's one thing. But otherwise, you must be 6 feet away. I'm sorry if that sounds contrary to community. That's the way it is. And we will sanitize the pew you have sat in and the pew in front of you if you touched it, which of course we do. That will be done immediately after Mass. We have volunteers trained to do that. It's a much more complicated process than our normal way of doing things. Funerals, things like that, confirmation, communion, special events, you'll be hearing more from us as time goes by. We have a big backlog of funerals, as you know. So I hope this little talk has given you some idea of what to expect. You can always call me, stop at the rectory if we need to go over points. There'll be some learning for the first few weeks. There'll be some trial and error, I'm sure. But we are prepared to keep you safe and hopefully help you to become even more holy. Thank you very much, my friends.